disappeared somewhere like out of space. You found some better place, and I miss you like the deserts miss the rain. And I miss you, yeah, like the deserts miss the rain. I miss you, and I miss you like the deserts miss the rain. And I miss you, yeah, like the deserts miss the rain. Deserts miss the rain. Like the deserts miss the rain. Like the deserts miss the rain. Like the deserts miss the rain. And I miss you, yeah, like the deserts miss the rain.
Welcome to Opposite Stock. Today we're going to do a slightly different video. We're going to go out for a drive in this lovely Bentley Continental GT Mulliner, which we will do a proper review video of at some point. It came into stock recently, but it's not advertised yet, as I'm quite enjoying running around in this one, to be honest with you. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about us, about Opposite Stock, and about who we are and where this has come from and what we do, and give you a flavour for the business. So Opposite Stock has been running for approximately 2 years now. We're based in Berwick-upon-Tweed, in the very north of Northumberland, the most northerly point in England, actually. We're sort of halfway between Newcastle and Edinburgh. And Opposite Stock was and is a passion project that came about through my own personal passion for cars and my own car collection, really. So going back to when I was a young lad, I didn't really take much interest in cars until I started driving them. And at the age of 17, when I got my driving license and got into my first car, which was a Vauxhall Nova 1.2 Merit, from that day on, cars became an obsession for me, and have been something that I have enjoyed to the fullest over the last 25 years. I built my own collection of cars, which got pretty serious, and I've always found cars to be a huge driver and a huge motivator for me. So as a man in the early part of my career, which by the way was not in the motor trade. The motor trade's a fairly new thing for me. My career's in a different industry altogether. I found that cars were, as I say, just a massive driver to push me. And with every pay rise and promotion and all of that sort of stuff, it was all what was underlying that deep down for me was, if I do this, if I get these exams and I get to that point and I get that role, I'm going to be able to buy this car or that car, and that's really, to this day, is still kind of what drives me to get up in the morning. So over the last sort of 10 years, I built up a fairly serious car collection, which we'll go into on another video because there's still quite a few there. But the idea of setting up a small hobby business, which is what Opposite Stock is, really started as a seed in my mind probably 5 or 6 years ago, when at one point I was sitting with about 15 or 16 cars in my collection, and I had this idea one day that this collection of cars that I'm building, what can that do for me? What can we use that for? So the idea of Opposite Stock was born, and on day one, when we opened the business and launched it, a few of my own cars formed part of the initial inventory, and as I say, the business is very much a hobby project. It's not something that I make a living from. A lot of people assume that, we're must be selling all these cars and making all this money. But we're not doing that. You know, we do it because we love it. And when I say we, it's not just me who's involved in the business. I kind of spearhead it and you know, do all the buying and selling and decide what inventory we're going to have and all the rest of it. But I have some good friends who help me out. We have Andy, who's our in-house detailer, who's, you know, 30 years experience, and he's an absolutely fantastic guy when it comes to paint and preparation and all of that sort of stuff. In my mind, best in the business. So he helps me out in his spare time, helps us prep the cars, get the cars right. And you know, he's a man that I lean on quite heavily with this whole thing, and you know, he's my right hand man in every sense of the word. We have Kieran, who's our mechanic, because we have workshop facilities as well at Opposite Stock. So Kieran does any mechanical prep for us. He's, you know, deals with all of that sort of stuff, and he's a man that can turn his hand to anything, really. So, you know, he's a great man to have on board. And yeah, then we have Antonio, who you'll have seen in our original video, who does our social media. He does he's doing this YouTube project and our photography and all the rest of it. Does a very, very good job. Travels down from Edinburgh to help us out. We have Craig Toon, who does our website and is also the founder of Rush Car Magazine. Fantastic writer. If you see some of our adverts and see the wording, I had one guy ask me recently, I assume your adverts are written by AI because they're very thorough, which I did chuckle at because they're absolutely not. Our adverts are all written very professionally by Craig, who's, you know, he's got a fantastic way with words, and he does a lot of that work for us. And then there's various other guys that are involved one way or another, help us with transport, and you know, we deliver cars, we collect cars, we have a big shuttle trailer, we do all of that sort of stuff. So it's a real team effort. But in every role there is within Opposite Stock, it's a part-time thing. You know, nobody's working full-time for Opposite Stock. It's very much, we all do it as a bit of a hobby on the side. And it means we all get to play around with cool cars, and you know, we all thoroughly enjoy it. So yeah, that's kind of what the business is. It's not a serious commercial operation. We're not making a lot of money, and you know, it's done for the love before anything else, the love of cars and the passion for cars. So what's the ethos of Opposite Stock, and how do we do business? Well, over the years building up my own personal car collection, I dealt with a lot of car dealers, some good, some bad. More bad than good, to be honest with you. And I've been through that process with many, many different companies and many, many different salesmen and all the rest of it. And, you know, I became very friendly with a well-known car dealer. I'll name drop him, Matt Johnson Prestige. And I've bought loads of cars from Matt. And his way of doing business impressed me so much that I came into this business going, that's the way you should behave if you're a car dealer. So, you know, honesty and integrity is absolutely everything in Opposite Stock. You know, I quite often say to people, and a few people don't believe me on this, but I can tell you it's the truth. I would rather lose money and send a car out right than make money and send a car out that's not right. So that is the way we do things. Everything we supply is prepped to the absolute highest standard, and you know, I would never let a car go out of our doors with any kind of fault or issue or anything like that. Now, we're lucky in that we don't tend to come across a lot of vehicles like that because we're very careful about what we buy. So the other rule that I have with Opposite Stock is, and we've had this since day one, I will only take a car into stock that I would personally like to own. So we don't sell Kias, we don't sell Ford Cougars. These are the cars we're driving past right now. We don't sell anything run-of-the-mill. Everything that we sell has to be special. There has to be something about it that would genuinely make me happy to own it personally. So we say no to a lot more than we say yes to when it comes to buying stock. Where do we get our stock from? Through our network of trusted dealers and friends in the motor trade. We get a fair few bits offered to us through that. Our Instagram page and our social media following has been building slowly but surely over the last couple of years, and we get offered a fair few bits from that. Obviously, we take the odd part exchange, but again, if the part exchange is not right, we won't take it. So, you know, we're very choosy about what we'll buy and what we'll retail. And that's why you'll never see us sitting with 30 cars in stock. You know, we keep it very manageable. We generally have less than 10 cars in stock at any given time. We do the odd sale or return, like commission sale for people if we are happy with the person, you know, that particular person and what they're looking for and all the rest of it. We're happy to take on a wee project like that, but generally we don't do a lot of that. We own our stock. It belongs to us, so we you know, that's my preference in the way we do things. We try and keep our overheads down. We don't want to be you know, start to get into a situation where we're being strangled by overheads, and that's another reason why we don't have a big flashy showroom, you know, all the rest of it. We've got a simple little unit. It's a very nice unit. It's very secure. It's very new, but that's as much as we want. We're not about the big showy bit. Nobody wears pointy shoes. Nobody has a big watch in our business. So we're trying to break the mold a little bit when it comes to car sales. So yeah, we're very selective in the cars that we buy, and we are obsessed with providing the very best service to our customers. At the end of the day, if I do business with you, if I buy a car from you, if I sell you a car, I want you to come back. I want you to, you know, come and do multiple deals with opposite stock, and that's the kind of relationship I'm trying to build with our clients. So it needs to be one of absolute trust, absolute honesty and integrity, and that's the absolute foundation of the service that we offer here at Opposite Stock. So you can go and check our website, see what stock we have currently. We've got a few tasty bits coming in soon, which we haven't advertised yet, but you'll see that over the coming weeks. And if you're interested in selling a car, something that's a bit special, or if you're interested in buying anything that we have, please feel free to pick up the phone. I'm always up for a chat with a petrol head, and you know, we would be more than happy to discuss any of those things with you. As I said in the last video, we are trying to build this YouTube channel from zero. So if you could like, subscribe, and comment, that would be much appreciated, and will help the algorithm build our following, build our channel. So yeah, thanks for listening to this rant in a Bentley, I suppose we could call it.